What is up, everybody? DanDanTheFireman here. Now, why are we doing a voiceover? Well, the audio from this video seemed to have not recorded or I lost it. So we're going to be talking about the Indian Scout Bobber 20 in this video. I did a demo event over here at Indian Motorcycle Tucson. So this is the Indian Scout Bobber. And I'm just going to kind of go over my thoughts and everything when it comes to, this type of bike. Is this bike right for you? Is it right for me? Like, who is this right for? So a little bit of backstory is that I'm 5'6", about a 30-inch inseam. And then obviously with motorcycle pants and boots, you get a little bit of different stuff. So that's my height. And then my weight is about 167. So there's me. I'm not going to use most of the 360 footage, but this is what I look like. You can see my feet on the bottom. I can reach. I could do everything perfectly fine. So on this bike. Okay. So what is this bike for? Or who is this bike for? It's got mini ape hangers, mid-rise ape hangers anyways. It's got some forward controls. You can get the reduced reach. And then it also has the thing that's unique to this Indian Scout Bobber 20 is that it's pretty much a real bobber. It's got a floating seat. They call it a floating seat because it's not a Springer seat. A Springer seat has the springs. This literally is floating. It's connected to the bike itself through the seat or however they did it. So that's what you have there. It's also a very smooth leather type seat. So we'll go into a little bit of that and how I feel like that's kind of a problem, at least for me. So when I talk about motorcycles and I talk about, is this right for you? I get a lot of questions, about the Rebel 500, Kawasaki Vulcan S, is this bike good? Is this bike good? So let's go ahead and boil it down. Is this bike what you want? I mean, do you want these ergonomics? Do you want the look? Okay, that's fine. Okay, now how does it ride with you? And this is why I tell you about the 30-inch inseam. There's the Indian Challenger and all the other bikes, the FTR and all that. Does this bike fit you, like ergonomic wise? Are you going to be able to stand on this or flat foot it? I can flat foot it here. And like I said, 30-inch inseam, these are really low seat heights, so you can definitely flat foot it. But how does it feel as a new rider or as somebody that's not used to forward controls and then mid-rise controls, with the mini apes? So we start to have those issues. So there's different ways to fix that, and that's perfectly fine. You can get some handlebars that will fit you well. You can get the mid controls on this bike, or even get rear controls on this bike. But then you start to defeat the purpose of the Indian Scout Bobber 20. It's supposed to be mini apes with the floating seat, forward controls. It's supposed to look like a bobber. You're bobbing around town. That's why it's called a bobber. So that's kind of where you start to get now more information, is that it's called a bobber for a reason, because you're supposed to be bobbing around town. If you start making adjustments to the bike, then it's almost like, well, then just get the regular Indian Scout Bobber or get the regular Indian Scout. So keep that in mind when it comes to that. And that's what I'm talking about in the video. You just can't hear it, obviously, because we're doing a voiceover and the audio doesn't work. So you want to get this bike typically for in-town stuff, bobbing around town. So if you're going to do that, this is going to be a bike for you. Now, is it going to be comfortable for you? Is it going to hinder your safety because, if you're not used to certain things? Is it going to mess up your turning? Is it going to mess up all these different things? It's something that you can easily learn. You can learn how to ride with forward controls. You can learn how to ride with mid-rise ape hangers, all these different things. You can learn how to do that, and you can be really good at it. But if you're not comfortable with it and you're like, I'm just going to change it, I'm going to get, regular handlebars, I'm going to get mid controls and all that stuff, and then you like, I don't like the seat because I feel like I'm sliding off, and you get a new seat, well, then you pretty much just got an Indian Scout Bobber. So you're paying a little extra, you're paying for the looks of the bike. It's already set up the way a bobber in this style is set up, and then you're going off and changing it. So then that bike is not going to be for you. You're going to want to get a regular Scout then. Okay, so there's that case. When it comes to safety, like I said, practice, practice, practice. So if this is a new type of thing, you're going to have to practice with it. You're going to have to learn how to do it. You're going to have to learn how to do slow speed. You're going to have to do all these different things with this style. But the thing is, the style is really kind of a hindrance to safety, I believe. I mean, for me, I want to change these mirrors right here. I really want to change the mirrors. I don't like the fact that they're down. Now, you can easily flip them up, and that would be a better option. But you're kind of defeating some of the purpose. You're starting to defeat some of the issues. The reason why I don't like the mirrors right there is I almost have to move my arm and look down and then see what's in the mirror. Instead, I want to be able to just look straight and do a quick glance to the mirror to the left or right. Typically, they're going to be up on the top, and then I can see. So that's going to be something that's going to hinder. So you're really playing into a lot of the whole aesthetic of the bobber versus the safety portion of the bobber. Now, I absolutely love the Indian Scout platform. The Indian Scout is an amazing platform. I absolutely love it. But there's options for you, and that's the beauty of it, is that you have the Indian Scout 60. So you have a 5th gear, liquid cooled, really good cruiser. And the 5th gear is like 5.5 gears. So it's actually decent on the interstate if you're going to be doing in-town stuff. So if you're only going to be on the interstate for like, 20, 30 minutes, it's going to be perfect for you. Even an hour, it's still going to be pretty good. Then you have the regular Scout. So the regular Scout's all the way to 6-speed. So it's a little bit more powerful, a little bit more weight, but it's pretty much the Indian Scout 60. So Indian Scout 60, really the only difference is that 6th gear, and it's going to be tuned a little bit differently. Then you have the Indian Scout Bobber. The Indian Scout Bobber has this really small seat, and it's got aggressive bars. It's all blacked out, and it's basically like the Indian Scout Bobber 20, but the Indian Scout Bobber 20 now has these mini apes. It still has the forward controls. You can still do reduced reach and all that stuff, but the big difference between the Indian Scout Bobber 20 and the Indian Scout Bobber is that solo seat, floating seat thing. So if you're going to change that floating seat out for something more comfortable or something that you like better, then might as well just get an Indian Scout Bobber. Might as well get an Indian Scout and then do your adjustments there. So I just really wanted to put that out there, because my perceived notion on this thing is like, this bike is not for me. I'd rather get the Indian Scout Bobber, which is going to be that bike right up ahead. So it's going to still have all the same looks of the Indian Scout Bobber. It's just that let's remove, for me personally, the mini apes and then the floating seat. Now, if that's what you like and you absolutely love it, and you love the look and it feels good to you, then keep it the way it is. But I highly recommend doing a demo event for this, so that way you can figure it out. I absolutely love the look of the bike, and then it turns out after I rode it, it's not something I'm going to want to get. I absolutely love my FTR, and I'm going to probably stay with that. But if I had to get a Scout, I'd probably get a Scout Bobber with a different seat, and that's pretty much all I would do. So that you kind of want to figure that out into your purchase. Overall, it's the same as a regular Indian Scout. So if you've done a demo on an Indian Scout, or you've test rode an Indian Scout, it's going to be the same gearing, same everything, same absolutely everything. It looks exactly like the Indian Scout Bobber, but you're going to have these mini apes, and then you're going to have this the defining feature on this one is going to be that floating seat. So if you don't like the floating seat and you don't care about the mini apes, don't get the Indian Scout Bobber 20. Now, I say that because I know a lot of people, see, I'm still getting used to the turning on that one. There's a lot of people that want to get these bikes and they want to do these things just because of looks, and then after they purchase it, they don't like it. So as a good consumer, you need to figure out if you're going to like it or not. Is it going to be safe for you to do it? Is it the mini apes and the forward control is going to be a hindrance into how you ride? All these different things you need to take into consideration when you're buying the bike. I like the bike. It's just not for me. It's as simple as that. It's a good bike. It's a great bike. Highly recommend riding it. And if you like it, then buy it. If you don't like it, like me, I just choose not to care for it, or there's better options out there for me, then I'm going to look for better options out there for me. And that's the beauty of doing these demo events, test rides, all these things. Do not rush into a purchase like this, because motorcycling is already super dangerous when it comes to, crashes and all these different things and all the training that's involved in order to be safe. So why put more of a hindrance on you when you don't even like the bike you're riding? So guys, pick the bike you like. The Indian Scout Bobber 20 is a great bike. It's just not for me. Okay. Oh, and by the way, it did really good on the interstate. That wasn't that big of a deal. I didn't feel any wind hitting me and all these different things. But at the end of the day, like at this point during the ride, I'm like, I don't even care for this bike. It's just not mine. It's not what I want. So just wanted to let you guys know. Hope you guys have a great day.
Easily feel that. It's a bigger bike. You can kind of feel it. And when it came to the Bobber 20 and even the Chieftain Limited, I felt like I was sitting on top of the bike. This bike, I don't feel like I'm on top. I feel like I'm in control. I'm like sucked in with the seat. So that's a